kid at school that sold pencils. Now, yes, it was a simple business, but he had one of these fancy, expensive pencil sharpeners at his house, and they sharpened pencils perfectly. Like the wood around the lead was even. The point was as sharp as a pin. It's perfect. So every night he'd be in his garage watching his TV, sharpening these pencils, and then he would bring them to school the next day. He had this very carefully picked out pencil case that would protect the tips of all these pencils. The next morning he would open it in class and show his classmates. I mean, I already have a pencil, but those look amazing. Something about how perfectly sharpened they were captured people's eyes every single time. He sold them for 50 cents each. And when he would hand these pencils over to the customers, they would hold on to it and look at it like they just bought something very expensive, very rare. Well, word spread, business began to boom, and people all around the school wanted his pencils, which is crazy to me because they could have just sharpened their own. There was something about his. Some kids even bought them and refused to write with them because they didn't want to ruin how good they were. What? In total, he made around $400. He ran this for like a year, and then he stopped because he bought the pair of shoes he wanted. And what do I always say? Write it in the comments before I can say it. You gotta respect the hustle. Her siblings, am I right? This guy had a younger brother, and his younger brother always won. Didn't matter what happened. If they fought, he would get blamed. If something broke, he would get blamed. Parents always hit him with, "You're older. You should know better." The younger brother figured this out fast, so he started using it to his advantage. He would start trouble, poking at him, annoying him, messing with his stuff. Second the older brother reacted, "Dude, get out of here, what's your problem?" He would just scream, "Mom!" And then the older brother gets in trouble over and over and over again. So eventually this kid decides, all right, that's enough. Because no matter what happens, he gets punished. So he's at least gonna get a little bit of revenge. He waited until nighttime and he went into the bathroom that he shares with his little brother. He takes the toothbrush and he puts soap all inside the bristles. He then lets it kind of dry and puts it back in the cabinet. Well, when his brother brushed his teeth that night, it tastes weird, it tastes weird. He's spitting toothpaste everywhere, but his parents are annoyed. They're like, "Dude, just brush your teeth. Quit being a baby. Your toothbrush is fine. It's normal toothpaste." No, I can't. It's disgusting. Stop being dramatic. And yes, it was simple, but the noise of his brother getting yelled at, even for something so stupid as that, made him happy. This makes me happy. And he slept well that night. He wanted a legendary senior prank. So they snuck to the football field at midnight with a gallon of chemicals, and their plan was to spell out the graduation year in big numbers across the field with these chemicals. So the grass would die and would spell out 2025. Guys, just wait till after the weekend. It's gonna look awesome. Best prank ever. When Monday came around, it worked. Their graduation year was spelled out. But apparently this field used specialized soil. The chemicals seeped into there and spread around. The damage was permanent. School brings in a contractor. I know you think it's just grass, but it's not just grass. It's a $10,000 repair. We have a game in 3 days. Well, fork it up. Now, the school actually wanted to be chill about this. They were just gonna give the kids community service and call it a day. But when the insurance company came, we aren't paying a dime for this unless you call the police and file a report for vandalism. That's just how it goes. So, in order to fix the field, the school had to make it official. They had to file a police report against these kids. They all got taken down to the station, and they got a court date. And yeah, that definitely ruined their graduation. Her mom's boyfriend was nice at first. Helpful, friendly. "Hey, Kayla, I brought you home some McDonald's." "Thanks, Mark." He treated her great. Then he married her mom. And almost overnight, he stopped talking to her completely. "Hey, Mark, how's your day?" He would walk past her like she wasn't even there. Then her little brother was born. And that's when it got worse. She said he basically decided that she didn't belong in the house anymore. First, he stopped cooking for her. He told the 14-year-old, "If you want food, buy your own." But she also wasn't allowed to get a job. Then he would take her laundry out of the washer mid-cycle to put his own in. And he would throw her wet clothes just on the floor. "Why'd you do this?" He would always scream that it was because, "This is my machine. I bought it." And then, as a punishment, she would make her do everyone else's laundry and fold it all. He banned her friends from coming over, never let her take the classes she wanted at the park district, and then he did one thing that she said that she would never forget. She went away to school camp for 2 weeks. She came back excited to get home. She walked into her room, looked at her bookshelf. "All my books are gone." Every single one. Turns out, while she was away, he had been using her book collection to start fires in the fireplace. One by one, burning them for kindling. And that is another example of a horrible, horrible person. School prank gone seriously wrong, or right. This was back in 1979. Somebody glued all of the locks on all of the doors in this one high school. The teachers show up. They can't open their doors. What the heck is going on? Keys won't even go in. They couldn't even get into the supply closets because those were also glued. Within 20 minutes, the whole building is in absolute chaos. Janitors are trying solvent. Teachers are trying to pick away at the glue. Students just standing around watching this all unfold. Eventually, the principal actually canceled school.
School is canceled until further notice, students.
Now here's the thing. This all happened during the nicest week of the year. It was sunny, warm. Everyone wanted to be outside. So instead of being upset, obviously the students were like, all right, days off. We're going to the pool. Yabo. They were tanning, they were listening to music. Because it's the 70s, nobody can text, nobody can call, so they're calling each other. Are we still off school? Is school still canceled? Then they find out from the principal that
prom is canceled until whoever did this comes forward.
Still, nobody talks at first. 3 full days go by before the school actually replaces the locks. Then eventually, the kid that did this admitted to it. It was me. He gets expelled immediately. School's back in session. Prom is not canceled. But here's the thing. Nobody was mad at him. The students actually loved him for it. Because right before prom, they got a few days off to go to the pool and get their tans on to be tanned for prom. It was a perfect situation. And that sounds awesome. Got the question right. No, she didn't. This girl comes home from elementary school one day. She's genuinely upset over one quiz question that she got wrong. I wrote here that a tomato is a fruit. Sweetheart, a tomato is a fruit. You got that question right. And yeah, a tomato is scientifically a fruit. End of discussion. So the dad writes a note to the teacher. Hi, my daughter got this question wrong, but technically she is correct. A tomato is indeed a fruit. Thank you. The next day, his daughter comes home. Hey, Dad, she wrote you back. This is what the note said. She writes this. While a tomato is technically a fruit, because it is used like a vegetable, we are teaching students that it is a vegetable. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. The dad's just sitting there for a second, like, you're literally purposefully teaching students the wrong thing. A couple weeks later, that school has an open house. All the parents are invited, and that teacher is there. He walks up to her. Hi, I'm Mr. Johnson. Hi. So, what other completely false things are you teaching my daughter? She was stunned. Have a good night. Honestly, that makes no sense. Trying to ruin my life. Ow. Jake genuinely believed his cat was ruining his life on purpose. Her name was Mildred, and he thought his cat had one mission: to destroy his social life. Because Mildred would pee on everything. His laundry, his backpack. One time, she went into his closet and tore up a bunch of his clothes. Everything is ripped. And the worst part was she wasn't even sick. He thought maybe she's acting out because there's something wrong with her, so he took her to the vet, but the vet's like, she seems incredibly healthy. Meanwhile, Jake's showing up to school smelling like cat urine. Dude, what does that smell? Oh, that's just Jake. What the heck? Jake knew it was Mildred's fault. Then it started escalating. She was pooping in his shoes, sleeping on folded clothes right after they were washed, so everything he wore was covered in hair. For years, Jake thought, this animal hates me. Fast forward 15 years, Jake is grown now. He's got long hair and he's living in an apartment by himself, and he still has that cat Mildred. One day, he's sitting on the couch watching TV. He looks down and there's Mildred. She's very old now, and she's huge, curled up in a ball right next to him. She's obsessed with being near him in every second, and one day it clicks. She just wanted me all to herself. Now, maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but all he knows is that 15 years later, he loves that cat more than anything, and she loves him. It's kind of sad and beautiful. Whatever you do, be cool. Dominic spent the entire summer preparing for middle school. He studied the map and he memorized hallways. He wanted to know where he was going, because his one goal was he didn't want to look like a lost 6th grader on the first day. So the morning comes, he's got his backpack on and he's nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm ready. First class of the day is Spanish, and the Spanish class is all the way down in the 8th grade hallway, which already feels terrifying. So he's walking through and there's older kids everywhere. And when you're in 6th grade, the 8th graders seem huge. He's walking down the hallway. He's feeling good. He's acting cool. And then he sees a group of older girls, and his confidence kind of takes over. These girls have perfect hair. They're laughing. They're leaning on their lockers. So I told them, get lost. That's an insane thing to say. Did he cry? He decides to try to play it cool. He says hi to the girls, smiles at them, and winks. Ladies? But because he was focused entirely on trying to impress these girls, he didn't see what was right in front of him. A janitor, the janitor's cart, and the janitor mopping up someone's vomit. He runs into the janitor, he slips on the vomit, and he falls into the big trash can that's on the janitor's cart. Oh, loser! He climbs out of that trash can as fast as he can and he runs to that Spanish class. And all that effort trying to look cool and not seem weird failed. Because for the rest of the year, he was known as Puke Boy. That's unfortunate. Was a kid, his mom dragged him to the nearest 7-Eleven. I don't want to go. Well, that's too bad. Well, they get there, she goes in the store, but he waits outside. He then sees this older, strange-looking guy sitting against a wall. Hey. Hey, want to see something cool? And he's a kid, so he said yes. Of course he wants to see something cool, which you should never do. The man then smiles, and then pulls off a prosthetic leg and showed this kid his leg stump. Look at this. The leg stump had a very weird smiley face drawn on it in Sharpie. The kid absolutely freaks out. That's not cool. The man then panics because I guess he had good intentions. Oh, no, wait, look, it's actually cool, look. The kid's now ugly crying. The mom runs out of the store. What's going on? His leg. The man's embarrassed. The mom's freaking out at him. I don't know why he showed the kid his leg stump anyway, but she went home with her kid. And years later, when he sees a 7-Eleven, he freaks out a little bit still.
Hey, Mrs. Stevens, Johnny's my best friend. Yay.
No, the heck he's not. This school had one of the weirdest rules ever. Nobody's allowed to have a best friend. I mean, I guess it wasn't officially, but every single time, if two kids got too close, teacher would step in and separate them. At first, nobody notices the pattern, but if a teacher sees these two students sitting by each other every day, you, come here.
What'd I do?
You're not sitting by Johnny anymore. Their desks get moved. The kids are laughing together too much. I think you two need some space. And everyone's like, why does this keep happening? But it gets worse. I guess teachers start clocking who is friends with who. And during recess, they send them out separately. Okay, Billy, you go first, okay? You stay here. Not until Billy's done. You guys are not hanging out together. Teachers are trying to stop kids from getting too attached. This was their logic. If kids had a close friend, they wouldn't socialize with other people. So instead of letting friendships happen naturally, they treated it like a freaking problem. To me, it is messed up. Johnny, come to the bonfire next week. Awesome. Johnny was invited to one of the popular kids' bonfires, and this was a big moment for him. He was hyped. He decided he wanted to be the bonfire guitar guy. You know, the guy that would sit by the fire and play songs and everyone tells him how cool he is. So he buys a guitar with money from his first job. He spends that entire week practicing, okay? Huh. Not too bad. They're gonna love this. Fingers shredding, watching tutorials. He's pretty decent. Kind of a natural. And finally, it's the big bonfire night. Like 20 kids there. They're all sitting around. Johnny brought his guitar. He sees his opportunity. Hey, you guys mind if I play a song for you? All right, man. Yeah, go for it. Okay, Johnny. Yeah, play us a song. So he starts playing, and he's actually killing it. Whoa, he's pretty good. Yeah, he is. People are impressed. Then he gets a little too confident. He starts going a little crazier. Fully dramatic rock star mode when all of a sudden, snap! One of the strings breaks and flies up and whips him right in the eye. And in a pure moment of panic, he just throws the guitar off him. Everyone goes silent. Johnny gets his composure. He realizes there's way too many people here for him to be freaking out. He's gonna look like a loser. But when he opens his eyes, he realizes he threw his guitar into the bonfire. And now the guitar is burning like firewood. No one said a word for about 30 minutes. They just sat around that fire warming themselves up with Johnny's guitar he bought to impress everybody. He never lived that down, and he wasted $200 on that guitar. That's nuts. I hate braces. Mikey got braces right before freshman year, and he really didn't want anybody to notice. So the whole summer, this dude's in the mirror practicing, smiling with his lips closed, talking differently. Hi, my name's Mikey, how are you? Laughing without showing teeth. Fully rehearsing these facial expressions. First day of school, he thinks he's got it under control. Then English class happens. Also, Mikey's mouth was messed up. He had those rubber bands in different places. Well, the teacher asks a question, calls on Mikey. So Mikey, what do you think they did with all the cows? And Mikey responds something that made himself laugh. They made milk. He smiles big, his braces are showing, but one of those rubber bands that he has connected to his braces comes loose and just straight to the front of the room. Right into the teacher's eye. What was that? Oh no! It came out of Mikey's mouth. It was so unfortunate. Mikey was in the front row. Truly a freak accident, but Mikey was bullied for like a month. Poor guy. No chewing gum in my class. Ah, rats. Marcus gets caught chewing gum by one of the super strict teachers. Marcus, spit it out. Now, most people would just take their gum and walk it to the trash can. But not Marcus. He's too cool for that. So he takes the gum out, he stands up slowly, he looks at the garbage can across the room. Watch this. Whole class locks in, trying to see if he's gonna make the shot. He launches it. Perfect arc. It's going. The very last second, the gum curves and gets stuck in the quiet kid's hair. Everybody's horrified. They're waiting for this quiet kid to freak out. But the kid never talks and he barely even reacts to this. He slowly reaches up. He touches the gum. It's not coming out easy. It's stuck in there pretty good. Then he calmly opens his backpack and pulls out a pair of scissors. And without saying a single word, he just cuts that chunk of gum right out of his hair. He sets the gum on his desk, puts the scissors back in his backpack, zips it up, and then he puts the hairy wad of gum in his mouth and starts chewing it. Goes right back to taking notes. The strict teacher's like, you know what? He can chew it. I'm not dealing with that. Yeah, that kid's pretty weird. There was a kid in class that never talked, always sitting by himself staring ahead. One day, the kid next to him is trying to be friendly, and he noticed he's got a headphone in underneath his hat. Hey man, what you listening to? Maybe it was music, maybe it was a podcast, he doesn't know. Kid slowly pulls out one earbud and hands it over. Okay, that's weird, but the kid takes it, puts it in his own ear. Oh, you want me to listen? Okay. At first, he thinks it's broken. Then he hears it. 481, 482. What is It's just some guy's voice counting. Kid then pulls out his phone and shows him. The video on his phone said, British guy counting to 5,000. Oh, nice, man. Why do you listen to this stuff? And all the kid said to him was, none of your freaking business, bro. 496. That is so weird. Who knows what tabletopping is? When I was in school, tabletopping was this kind of dangerous thing where you would get on your hands and knees behind somebody and your friend would push them down over you. Okay, I'm not recommending it, but this one school got a brand new teacher fresh out of college. It was literally his first week there, but he looked like a 16-year-old. What's up? I'm Mr. Johnson. So one day during passing period, he's walking through the hallways carrying his bag. And on this particular day, this group of kids were going around tabletopping people. So they figured, hey, that's a student, let's tabletop him. Yo, next victim. Perfect. So these goofballs decide to go for it. One of them gets in front of him and says, hey, what's up, bro? Hey. While the other gets behind him on all fours, and he pushes. He falls down, and he breaks his arm, and that's when the students can see his staff badge. Bro, that's a teacher! What? I could have sworn it was a freshman! Teacher screaming, his arm is broken in half. Office gets called. These kids literally get suspended. They were almost expelled. But that poor teacher, he was actually bullied for that entire year. That's just not right. Hector's driving to work one morning when he sees something on his dashboard. What is It's a jumping spider, and Hector does not do spiders. So immediately he's freaking out. The car's swerving. It's dangerous. He's trying to keep one eye on the road and one eye on this thing. Then the spider disappears somewhere in the windshield. He's gone. For now. The next morning, Hector gets in the car to go to work, and the spider's back. This time, Hector kind of sighs. He's like, all right, you just stay there, okay? And weirdly, after a while, he gets used to it. That spider's there every morning. Oh, hey, morning, buddy! Sometimes on the dash, sometimes on the radio knob. And eventually, Hector starts talking to it on his way to work. Man, it's good to see you today. I didn't sleep well last night, but I think with some coffee I'll be good. If traffic was bad, look at this idiot. That's what I'm saying. If he's late, we're not gonna make it on time today, buddy. At one point, Hector doesn't see him for a few days. He gets worried, but then he pops back up. Okay, there you are. I missed you. Now it's a part of the routine. It's been about a week since he met the spider. And it's his buddy now. One day, he's driving his wife to work. She gets in the car, and she sees the spider. All right, let's go. Ah! Oh, no, that's just... Ew. Don't worry, he's dead now. His wife just killed his best friend, and he's actually devastated. The ride to church is pretty quiet. His wife finally says, are you seriously mad at me right now? And he just cries. You rode with me every single day this past week. He was my best friend. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Man, that's sad. Every winter, this one patch of ice formed outside the side entrance of the school, and nobody ever salted it. And kids figured out something fast. If you hit it at full speed and land just right, you'll just keep on sliding. It was this long stretch that if executed properly, kids could just slide for what seemed like ever. Groups of people were doing it every morning. Yo! A pile of backpacks here and a line of kids here. It wasn't easy. Some kids wiped out. Some kids went pretty far. Well, one kid showed up, he took it way too seriously. Before and after school, he shows up with two two of his biggest buddies. And if somebody wanted to slide on this ice, they had to give him something. What you got? Well, you're in my math class. I'll give you the answer to tomorrow's homework. Deal. He would then let them go and mark down how far they went. 15 feet, 18 feet, 25 feet. Now, everyone's showing up with offerings to get in line to try to beat the best record. This kid's getting tons of snacks, homework answers, random items. That's when one angry janitor sees what's going on, and he's like, oh, I can't have this. So every morning he begins salting it. That forgotten ice patch was no more. But for that time, it was awesome. Senior year, somebody pulled the most evil school prank anyone has ever seen. It started during first period in math class. Dead quiet, the teachers are writing notes on the board, and out of nowhere, faintly, you heard Baby Shark Song. What is that? The whole class looks up, the teacher stops writing.
Whoever's playing that, turn it off!
Then the music cuts off and everyone's confused for a second. Then 10 minutes later it happens again. But it's louder this time.
Yo, what is going on?
This time, it wouldn't stop. The song was on repeat. People are laughing, the teachers are losing their minds, and the staff is looking for where this is coming from. Nobody could find it. And then a little bit later, it gets worse. The song is playing everywhere. It's obviously coming from multiple different speakers. In the science room, in the bathrooms, above the cafeteria, and every single speaker is synced together. And it disrupts the entire school day because kids can't focus, teachers can't teach. Every time they find one speaker, the other ones get louder. Apparently, the seniors had hidden these Bluetooth speakers in ceiling tiles, nooks, crannies behind lockers. There was even one in the trophy case. It took almost 3 full hours to find each and every one of them. Let's just say every single student and teacher in that school had Baby Shark stuck in their head for at least a month after that. That, my friends, is genius. There's a kid at school named Max, and they called Max the raccoon. Yo, what's up? Because Max could find furniture anywhere. Didn't matter what it was. Gaming chairs, mini fridges, lamps, half a trampoline one time. And whenever someone asked where he got it, he would always say, the curb, or garbage can behind Jewel. Now behind the school was this tiny little forest area that students were technically banned from going into, which obviously made kids want to go in there more. But one day, Max decides, I'm gonna build a hangout in the woods. So at first, he drags out 2 lawn chairs and a milk crate. Then the next week, there's a couch and a rug. Then somehow, a standing lamp connected to a generator. Every day after school, this dude is dragging more and more furniture out to this hangout spot, and it's looking awesome. And kids began to hang out there every day. Portable speakers, Uno games, snacks, the mini fridge. By springtime, there was multiple couches, Christmas lights. It was a complete vibe. People would literally say, hey, you going to Max's place later? And by that, they meant the woods. Teachers had no idea this existed until one day a janitor went back there and discovered what looked like a fully furnished living room hidden behind the school in a patch of trees. He gets the principal walks back there. What is... Oh my god. He had everything removed. But he did say, that's impressive. And it was impressive. There was this girl on the swim team named Maddie.
Hey!
And Maddie hated swim practice more than anybody alive. Because every day after school, the team had to get on this humid, disgusting bus and drive across town to the Park District pool. The bus had towels everywhere. The chlorine smell always trapped in the seats. Some kid always eating goldfish crackers for no reason. They're delicious. They're so good. Then after they get to the pool, 3 straight hours of misery would begin. Sprint laps, flip turns, the coach screaming, swim faster, you idiots! People were literally throwing up after they were done. Then one day during practice, the lifeguard suddenly blows the whistle. Everybody out of the pool! Apparently, on the other half of the pool, a kid taking swim lessons pooped, and swim practice was canceled instantly. Everybody goes home, and Maddie realizes this is a life hack. So the next week, she goes to swim practice unusually happy. Hidden in her hoodie pocket is a fake plastic poop from the prank store. Halfway through practice, everyone is exhausted doing their sprints. Maddie casually swims to the deep end, drops the fake poop in, and pushes off the wall. At first, nobody notices. Then one kid surfaces and goes, poop! Poop! Instantly, people begin freaking out. Everyone's climbing out of the pool. The lifeguard blows the whistle. The coach looks, yep, that's poop. Pool gets shut down. Practice gets canceled. At this point, the coach and the swim team had left. But the lifeguards, as they began to clean, they realized this is not a real poop. Nobody ever proved it was Maddie. And from that day on, if a poop showed up, they made sure to check if it was real before practice was canceled. But for that day, she got half the practice off. And she was so proud of herself. This kid goes to the arcade one weekend and finds something sitting on the carpet right next to one of the machines. It's a key. At first, he thinks it's just a random key, but then he realized it looked a little different, so he tries it in one of the machines. It works. The machine opens. to the area where it keeps all of its tickets, and it works on every single machine in the arcade. So now he realizes, I have so much power, but I better be careful. Now this is the town arcade that all of the kids go to, and the prizes that arcade gives out for tickets are these unique prizes that you can't find anywhere else. So what he does is he plays it safe by slowly stealing tickets little by little until he has a giant amount. He would then take these tickets to school. Look what I have. Is this for the town arcade? Dude, give me some. What do you got? And he's trading these tickets for basically everything. Lunch, desserts, homework answers. One kid traded him a pair of barely worn Jordans. Here, have them right off my feet. Oh, this gets you a bunch of tickets. Here. Now, eventually, the arcade catches on because these kids kept coming in and redeeming tickets, although they never even played a single game there. Boss, something's weird here. The managers are confused, and the machines get checked. And after that, the key didn't work anymore. But by that point, this kid had so much random stuff that he was fine with it. I regret nothing. Legendary barter system. Goes over to his friend Brad's house for the first time. And right away he can see that the family's pretty strange. This family's pretty strange. Nothing huge, just weird energy. The mom and dad are kind of weird, and the friend Brad keeps saying, hey, whatever you do, bro, do not sit in my dad's chair. Okay, I won't. They hang out all night playing video games, eating junk food, doing normal sleepover stuff. Eventually they go to bed. Then around like 2 in the morning, Luke wakes up to go to the bathroom. The house is completely dark and quiet. So he walks into the hallway half asleep. Then he hears something moving downstairs. Like scratching noises. So he looks down into the living room and he is shook. I'm shook. Because Brad's dad is crawling around on all fours. A full-grown man moving slowly around the carpet like a cat. But then it gets worse. The dad then jumps onto the chair, turned towards the family cat, and begins to lick the cat's head. He's grooming his cat. And the cat's just sitting there like, yep, this is normal. Luke said his brain just completely shut down. He ran out of that house, ran 2 blocks away, called his mom, and his mom came to pick him up. He never went to that house or talked to Luke ever again after that. Oh, that's insane. Kid came back from summer break like 4 inches taller. Hey, what's up, guys? And everybody noticed immediately. Bro, what happened to you? Yeah, you're like tall now. And he just says, growth spurt. And the thing is, he had been the short kid forever. So now he's walking different, he's feeling different. He's standing straighter, he's talking in class, making jokes. People are complimenting him constantly. And he's popular now. But then a few months later, it's gym class. Everyone's playing kickball outside. And this kid is taking it seriously. He's talking trash. Nice shot, idiot. What's up? I'm gonna win. Well, he's up, and the ball gets rolled towards him. He takes one big kick, and his shoe flies off. Oh no. Now, that's not a big deal, but then he had to go get his shoe. At first, everyone's like laughing, like, your shoe fell off, no big deal. But as he begins to walk towards his shoe, they notice that he's limping. Yo, bro, why are you limping? You good? Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry. I'll get my shoe. Wait, hold on. What the heck? Everyone runs over. They pin this dude down in the grass, and they pull his other shoe off. Let me see this other shoe. What? Inside his shoes are these giant 4-inch height inserts, like full elevator platforms. These were the things that were making him taller. I can explain. Yeah, so can we. You're a loser. And the rest of the year after that, kids were brutal to him. Kind of feel bad, but you guys, doesn't matter how short or tall you are, just rock it. It was this kid's 3rd birthday party, and he did not care at all. So he was turning 3 and his parents went all out. Huge backyard party, like 50 people. Family, friends, cousins, neighbors, everybody was there. Everyone was eating cake, baby. Playing games. Presents stacked up. The kind of party parents throw because they know their kids are going to remember it forever. So that morning they gave this kid one of his gifts early. Here, sweetie. It's a little plastic toy lawnmower. Lawnmower. I like it. The kind that clicks when you push it, and he loves it instantly. He won't put it down, and they're thinking, good. Great. Best gift ever. So the party starts, people show up, kids are running around, everyone's having a fantastic time. And meanwhile, the birthday boy isn't anywhere near everybody because he's in the front yard, slowly mowing the lawn with his fake lawnmower. Just walking back and forth, pushing that little mower. He's completely locked in. And the party's happening in the backyard. Everyone's trying to get him involved. Like, hey, come on, buddy, come on, open some presents. Doesn't even respond. Just keeps mowing the lawn. Hey, bud, it's your Uncle Joey. Come on, let's have some cake. Doesn't care. Eventually, people just start laughing. Because this entire time, they're looking outside. This kid's just walking back and forth, mowing the lawn, could care less about his party. Then it comes time to sing happy birthday. They can't get him inside, so everyone else had to come out to the front yard and sing to him while he didn't listen and mowed the lawn instead. Actually, that's awesome. Two 12-year-olds started a lemonade stand one summer. And at first it was basic, like they had the table, the sign, they were making lemonade, and people were buying it. They spent days perfecting the recipe. They were treating it like a chemistry project. But the thing is, the lemonade was incredible. Kids, this lemonade is incredible. People on their street loved it, but business began to slow down a lot. Then one of them goes, why are we selling this stuff to a cul-de-sac of 20 people when there's a whole downtown area? Good idea. Let's move shop. So one Saturday morning, they moved the entire operation downtown, the middle of town square. And now they're selling BLT sandwiches. And business was absolutely booming. They're making so much money. Word spreads fast. There's lines. They're selling out. At one point, a nearby cafe owner goes, "You're putting us out of business, guys!" And the kids take that as a compliment. Okay. But then the city gets involved. Because apparently, once you start having this sort of business in a public downtown area, you need a license. Health inspectors show up. And these two kids are just standing there like, we're 12. Inspector's like, doesn't matter. And the city shuts the stand down immediately for not having permits or licenses. But the kids made so much money that they got over it pretty quick. 2 weeks till senior graduation. That kid decides he's gonna pull a prank that nobody will ever forget. Most senior pranks involve balloons, sticky notes, baby oil. Well, this dude somehow gets his hands on an actual beehive. It was in my backyard. I put it in the trash bag. And his genius plan is to bring it to school and release it. Okay, well, that's actually so dangerous. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the punchline's supposed to be here. Kid with a bee allergy having to be taken to the hospital? Who knows? He ties up the garbage bag that the beehive's in and he throws it over his shoulder. And he gets on the bus, mister. He's thrown on the bus, everything's fine at first. Then a kid noticed a bee. Oh God, there's a bee in here. Then there was another one. Oh God, there's another bee in here. Then another, then another, then another. The senior kid is like, oh my God. The bees had buzzed their way through this garbage bag. And now the beehive is open. The next 30 seconds were complete and utter craziness. Kids screaming, people hiding underneath the bus seats, but everybody was getting stung. And yes, there were kids in the bus that were allergic to bees, and yes, they had to go to the hospital. The funny part is, when the bus driver first noticed all these bees, he put the bus in park and left the bus. But then he realized he's in charge of these kids. I gotta go back. And he drives the bus to a nearby hospital, and they take it from there. But they found out who brought the beehive in, and he wasn't able to graduate. But that makes sense, because what a dumb prank. It's first grade and this kid's at a school assembly. The whole school is there. It's a very small school, kindergarten through 12th grade. And it's some educational assembly, like the frickin' Wiggles, trying to get students to learn in fun ways. Actors singing and dancing, they're trying way too hard to make learning look fun. And that's a rhombus. Well, this kid is barely paying attention. Because the night before this, he was watching Spider-Man cartoons, and he was thinking about an episode. So he's half asleep when one of the actors asks, all right, students, who sailed the ocean blue in 1492? Well, this kid's friend elbows him. He's messing with him. Hey, bro, she called on you. So he raises his hand. Okay. She says, okay, what's the answer? What's the question? Who sailed the ocean blue in 1492? And instead of actually thinking about it, he said the first thing that comes to his mind. Norman Virgil Osborne. No. Dead silence. Everyone's confused. Then one of the older kids says, did he just answer that question with the Green Goblin? That's hilarious! And then suddenly the entire school starts cheering him on. They push him down to the middle of the gym and they tell him to dance. Dance! 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 They're chanting. The kid has no idea what to do, so he just busts a move. It was horrible. He was embarrassed and he left the gym. But honestly, that sounds like an awesome assembly. He slept through every single math class. The teacher talking, he was asleep. Putting notes up on the board, dude was knocked out. Everybody got used to seeing him face down on his desk. Well, one day the teacher was absolutely sick of this. I'm absolutely sick of this. One morning, the teacher stopped in the middle of the class and he wrote a complicated problem on the board. He then told the person sitting next to this kid, hey, Billiards, wake him up. Hey, wake up, man. The teacher then says this. Since you've been paying attention so closely all class, solve this problem for me. You have 4 minutes. The whole class is waiting for this kid to get embarrassed. He immediately walks up to the board. He's still exhausted. He takes the marker. He begins writing. 3 seconds later, he says, done. The teacher's like, yeah, no way. Let's see. It was perfect. The kid sits back down and puts his head right back on the desk. A few days later, the teacher tries again. Wake him up. I got a really hard one this time. Bro, 273.67. That's correct. It becomes a thing. He tried a few more times before he just stopped bothering him. Just let him sleep throughout every single class because he always got A's on the test and he always did his homework. So why can't the kid sleep? Yeah. Kid's taking a math test one day when something falls out of her pencil case. The teacher sees the piece of paper on the ground. Oh, Stacy, I saw that. Pick up that paper and go to the office. No cheating in my class. No, I wasn't cheating. No, go to the office. No, seriously, I wasn't cheating. Just read it. Take the note and go to the office now. Jeez, lady's going a little crazy, huh? But this girl then goes to the office. So now she's walking through the hallways, carrying her backpack while the teacher follows behind her. She grabbed a different faculty member to watch the class while she left. They get to the principal's office. Stacy, sit down. What's going on here? I caught her with a cheat sheet, cheating during our test. Go ahead. Hand him the piece of paper. The teacher looks at Stacy. Stacy looks at the principal. The principal looks at Stacy. Here, go ahead. Read the note. The principal takes the paper and reads it out loud. Eggs, bacon, window cleaner, popcorn, Cheez-Its. This is a dang grocery list. Yeah, I know. I'm going to the store after school for my mom. I wasn't cheating. You crazy teacher. Mrs. Johnson, are you serious right now? Oh, I could have. Is there somebody watching in your class right now? Yes, Mrs. Carroll is. Good. Stacy, go back to class. We're having a chat. That's karma. He bullied the wrong kid. This bully started messing with one of the smaller kids by the lockers one day, talking trash and getting into his face. Nice hair, ginger boy. Trying to get a reaction, but the smaller kid ignored him. What, you got nothing to say? Then, out of nowhere, the smaller kid grabs the combination lock that's hanging off his locker, and he swings it across the bully's face. This kid's kind of bleeding a bit, he's crying, teacher comes running, but the smaller kid skipped off the class, and for some reason he did not get in trouble for this. Well, his next class was woodshop. After the bully got himself all cleaned up, he started to get mad again. Yeah, he got a cheap shot on me. I'm gonna find him. Oh, I'm gonna get him back. The bully then goes to this kid's woodshop class, and he walks in. He sees the small kid in the back corner working. Now, the small kid is working with 2x4s, planks of wood. Why the bully thought it would be a good idea to mess with him again, I don't know, but he does. Hey, you're freaking dead! Without reacting much, you guessed it, smacks him right across the face with a plank of wood. The kid freaks out again, starts crying. He's bleeding again. This time, they both get sent to the office, but the woodshop class had a ton of people say that this bully went to attack the small kid first. And if the small kid didn't defend himself, well, it would have been bad for him. The bully got expelled. Careful who you mess with. Bada bing, bada boom. Teacher and this one kid argued every single day, constantly butting heads. Johnson, look at me. No, you look at me. It's one of those things where every single class, kids are just waiting for some crazy stuff to go down between these two. Well, one afternoon, this teacher's fed up with this kid and says, Johnson, if you keep talking, we're gonna have a problem. No, we're not. Yeah, we are. If you keep talking, I'm gonna call your mother. The kid just goes, do it. The teacher goes, oh, I will. My mom's gonna agree with me anyway. The teacher didn't like him talking back. You know what? Just go to the office right now. Go right now. Leave my classroom. Okay. He walks out of the classroom for 1 second, and then he comes back in. You know what? I'm gonna call my mom for you. He dials. It's on speakerphone. It's ringing, and his mom picks up. Hey, Mom. My teacher wants to talk to you. Teacher was panicked. Didn't know what to do. Oh. The entire class is laughing. Here, I'm gonna hand you over to her. She takes the phone, and she hangs up. Kid was still sent to the office, but she kinda looked like a joke after that. Girl goes to a sleepover at her friend's house. She's about 10 years old, and everything is normal. It's a nice house, it's a nice family. Nothing weird, but then bedtime rolls around, and that's when she notices something. You see, her friend has 5 brothers, and all 5 of them share one giant room. She walks past. It's filled with bunk beds. No decorations at all. No posters, nothing like that. It looks like a frickin' barracks. Then the mom starts getting everybody ready for bed. And apparently the boys had a nightly routine. All right, boys, line up. All 5 brothers line up. And she starts inspecting them one by one. Shirts tucked in? Good. Jeans on? Good. Belt fastened? Good. You all look very dapper. Now go to bed. And sends them off to bed. She asks her friend, do they do this every night? Her friend's like, yeah, every night. And just think about how weird that is. No pajamas. In fact, the mom is making them wear a t-shirt, jeans, and a belt to sleep. And then she notices something in there. Each of those bunk beds doesn't have a blanket on it. And the brothers acted like it was completely normal. Now you see, alarm bells are going off in my brain. Someone should probably call DCFS. Because that sounds sus. He went to a Catholic school in Florida. Florida. And if you've ever been to Florida, you know that there are lizards everywhere. On walls, sidewalks, just chilling by the pool. To It's a lovely day. So one day, this little lizard gets inside the school building. It's in a classroom. And everyone's freaking out for some reason. The teacher is consistently saying, "Nobody touch it! Nobody touch it!" And this one kid thought she was scared. That's why she was saying it. So he chased the lizard around. He picked it up. He caught it. "Don't worry, miss. I got it. I'll go put him outside." The teacher then gets really weird. "Oh, you shouldn't have touched the lizard. Why? You just invited the devil into your soul." "That's funny." "No, I'm serious. Get in the hall." She then sends this kid out into the hallway and calls this nun to come up. The nun then takes him to the chapel part of school where she prayed over him for the rest of the day. And this kid is sitting there. The nun also made the kid watch her kill the lizard with a cross. I'm not sure what kind of Florida Catholic school this is, but that's crazy. The kid wore a fake cast for Halloween one day. The costume was simple. Sweatpants, old hoodie, and a cast. I guess he was going as a kid with a broken arm. But on Halloween, no one's telling him, "Hey, I like your costume." Everyone's saying, "Oh my god, are you alright?" and asking to sign his cast. "Oh, yeah, you can sign it." People are holding doors open for him. The teachers are letting things slide. So he keeps the cast on another day. The lunch lady's giving him extra food. One guy even carried his backpack for him. So he wore it for the whole week. People are constantly asking, "Hey bro, how'd it happen, man?" And this guy's so dumb, he changed his story every time. Skateboard accident, or bike crash, or I fell out of a tree. And no one's comparing notes, so nobody notices it. Then things start escalating. The teacher lets him not carry his textbooks. He got extra time on an assignment. Then one day gym class happens. It's a pretty big class with a lot of students in it. And there was a substitute. And the sub asked, "Hey kid, how'd you break your arm?" And he goes, "Football practice." And everyone's like, "Wait, hold on a minute. I thought it was a skateboard accident. I thought it was a tree. I thought it was a bike." He was caught up. They found out he's been faking. And he was the most hated kid for the rest of the year. That's hilarious. Thought you were cool. Leave my classroom. There was this teacher everybody liked. He's the kind of teacher that would sit with students at lunch and joke around with them. So one day during lunch, this group of kids is sitting with this teacher. It's a normal lunch and they're talking and laughing with him. Then everybody heads off to class. Well, I guess some students in the cafeteria that day trashed it and the janitor was furious. "Stupid kids making a big mess. I'm gonna complain." This janitor tells administration, everyone's talking. I guess this janitor really wanted whoever made this mess to get in trouble. Well, somehow, the cool teacher heard about this and blamed the kids he was sitting with. I was sitting next to Billy, Kevin, Kyle, Steven. They made the mess. Now, all those kids get called to the office. We didn't make the mess at all. Yeah, we were just eating our lunch, chilling, talking. No, yeah, we were sitting by Mr. Erickson. He can vouch for us. But the principal's like, "Well, kids, he's actually the one that turned you in." The kids feel betrayed. They go to his classroom after school. "Yo, dude, why'd you tell the school that we made a huge mess during lunch? We were literally talking to you about GTA 6. "Yeah, what?" All the teacher did was this. "I don't know. Now get out of my classroom." But that's not where it ends. All those kids went home. But the teacher personally called each and every one of those kids' parents to tell them that they trashed the lunchroom, which is a complete and utter lie. And that's the day all those kids learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the teacher knows they're innocent, but it doesn't matter anyway. Nobody liked this teacher. She was constantly promising things and never following through. Usually about animals. "Class tomorrow, I'm having a zookeeper bring in an aardvark." The class would cheer, but it would never happen. "Class tomorrow, I'm having the zookeeper bring in a boa constrictor." Class would cheer. Guess what? Never would happen. She would also lie about field trips, movie days. She was the worst. Every few weeks, she would get everyone excited about stuff and then just not follow through. By the end of the year, the class was completely over it. They find out she's retiring. It's the last week of school, and some kid comes up with an idea. "You see, my mom works at a candy store," and he said that candy store sold these colorful candies that looked just like rocks. His mom made them. But here's what they did. The mom was willing to help get back at this teacher. But instead of the colorful candy chocolate, she dipped actual rocks in the candy coating. So they looked exactly the same as the real ones, except instead of chocolate, there was rocks. The class puts together this giant box, everything, and they put it on her desk. "Here, teach. Have them, enjoy." And because she's the way she is, of course, she's honored. "Oh wow, is it because I'm such a great teacher? You know what, I'm not gonna share these, but I will have one right now." And they're watching her. She's going to put this candy in her mouth. She does. Then she bites down. Immediately, tooth cracked. The teacher spits it into her hand and looks at it. It's a rock, and she's ticked off. They eventually find out who did it, and he was expelled. But obviously his mom wasn't mad because she's the one that helped him. But hey, that teacher sounded horrible. She deserved it. There was a weird kid at school that everybody avoided. He was really quiet. Well, one day, he brings a cake into class and sets it on the teacher's desk. What is this? I made it. Oh, okay. Whose birthday is it? Nobody's. I just made it.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna bring it to the teacher's lounge, okay? Huh?
Comes back. Class moves on. The cake is now sitting in the teacher's lounge. Everybody's kind of skeptical. They're like, I'm not eating that cake. Well, 3 teachers decide, hey, why not? I like cake. So they start eating it. Within an hour and a half, those teachers start leaving their classrooms. Their stomachs are going crazy.
Oh no. Oh.
Subs have to come in. The office is kind of scrambling. The teachers spend the next few hours in the bathroom. Then somebody connects the dots. It's the cake. They keep it. They have somebody test it. The next day they find out the cake was filled with laxatives. The kid gets pulled out of class. Yo, come with me.
Oh, okay.
And then he's gone. And he never shows up to school ever again. Why in the world would he do that? Teacher absolutely hated mayonnaise. It's the worst. Like it was a phobia. One day the class is talking about things that they don't like. Kids are saying bugs, spiders, snakes. And the teacher says, well, mine is kind of weird. I hate mayonnaise. The smell makes me sick. Everybody laughs. Class moves on. Except one kid becomes weirdly obsessed with this information. Mrs. Johnson hates mayonnaise, huh? The next day he walks into that class carrying a full jar of mayonnaise. He sits down and just sets it right on his desk. Doesn't say a word. The teacher notices this, but she ignores it. She figures this kid's just trying to mess with me. I'm not even gonna put any energy into it. But then he does it again the next day, and the day after that. Every morning, that mayonnaise jar is just sitting on his desk right next to his notebook, staring at the teacher. Now, after days of completely ignoring this mayonnaise thing, teacher finally breaks. Okay, I have to ask, why do you keep bringing mayonnaise into my classroom? He looks up and in complete seriousness, he says, because one day, miss, I'm gonna drown you in mayonnaise. Now, the kid didn't actually end up drowning her in mayonnaise, but he did keep bringing that jar to school, and she kept having to look at it. It was there in that classroom every day for the rest of the year. Kid in band was obsessed with yo mama jokes. Yo mama so squiggly, she squiggle on me. And he would say them every day. Yo mama so old, she pre-ordered the Bible. Yo mama so ugly, not even goldfish crackers smile back. Then a hurricane happened. Schools closed for a while, and everybody comes back. Everyone's talking about it, seeing who lost power, who's got flooding, all that stuff. Band class starts up again. The teacher's getting everybody settled in. All right, class, settle down, settle down. I'm glad to see all of you are well. Well, then this kid walks in, the yo mama kid. He's got the biggest smile on his face. The whole class can see what's coming. The teacher asks, Kevin, how you doing, buddy? Kid goes, yo mama. And before he could even finish, the teacher cuts him off without missing a beat. He says, died in the hurricane.
I am so sorry.
Silence. You could hear a pin drop. Yeah, the teacher's mom passed away during the hurricane. The kid's just sitting there, shocked. He quietly turns around, walks back to his seat, sits down. And according to every single person in that room, the yo mama joke kid never made a yo mama joke ever again. This kid's grandpa was a courtroom sketch artist. And for some reason, instead of his grandpa teaching him normal stuff, his grandpa taught him how to sketch.
Hey, good job, kid. You're doing great.
Hey, thanks, Gramps. Well, see, this kid was in middle school. He really wanted to draw stuff for court cases, but, So one day he talks to his smartest friend, and the friend goes, why don't you make your own court? And they did. That smart kid became the judge. A couple of other friends became attorneys. And every day during lunch, they would set up in the corner, and then they start spreading the word. Anybody who has a beef with anybody, take it to lunch court. We'll settle this. Then word started to spread. Any type of beef that any friends would have, they would come to lunch court. Kids would walk up, explain their side. The attorneys would argue. The judge would make a ruling. And this entire time, this kid's just sitting back, sketching everything like it was an actual trial. And it would get intense. One kid brought his own witness statements from different classmates. Evidence started to be involved in these cases. There was a wait list of students waiting for their trial date. The kid who was the judge started carrying around this notebook filled with all the cases he's doing. Suddenly, he's stressing out. And this kid had a giant binder filled with these courtroom images. And honestly, that sounds like so much fun. Kid never got in trouble. He was quiet. He got good grades, which is why nobody suspected him when everything started. It begins during first period. Some girl in this class suddenly jumps out of her seat. The teacher runs over. Then immediately after, someone hears another scream from a different classroom. And then every 15 minutes, all day from all around the school, screams. Because why? The screams meant somebody found a mouse. But it's not normal mice. Bright blue mice. pink mice, green mice, running through the classrooms and the school, and nobody knows where the heck they came from. And because each of these mice were a different color, they figured somebody had to have brought these into school. So they started going around and searching people's backpacks. Well, what nobody knew was that that quiet kid, that smart kid, was preparing for this for weeks. You see, I have a pet snake at my house. He eats mice. I've been stockpiling them, and he was dyeing them different colors using Easter egg dye. Then, on the day of the prank, he shows up to school wearing a trench coat, and he'd modified the inside of the coat so it could fit all of these mice. And all morning long on that particular day, he would walk through the school and slowly, one at a time, drop a mouse here, drop a mouse there, drop a mouse everywhere. The funniest part was nobody knew it was him. The only reason we know is because he shared the story. He's an old guy now. But the sad part is, most of those mice died that day. Rest in peace. Kid's family owned a carpet store, which meant their garage was full of carpet samples. Little squares that are all different colors and different textures. Little mini carpets. And now most people would have looked at these and saw worthless pieces of carpet, but he did not ignore it. He saw a business opportunity. So one Monday, he brings a stack of these carpet samples to school. He takes two and sets them on each side of his desk. And that, for that class, was where he put his elbows. Bro, what are those? Oh, these? They're desk carpets. They keep my elbows comfortable all class period. And that's all he had to say. Immediately, people wanted these little luxurious desk mats. And he just starts charging $5, $2, honestly, whatever people had. Bag of chips? Sure, here's 2 squares. Enjoy your class. After a while of doing this, a bunch of students at that school were using these every single day. The more the demand went up, the more he charged for the nicer quality fabrics. Business was absolutely flippin' booming. In total, he made around $700, and then the school shut him down, because that's what schools do. That's how you gotta think, and you gotta respect it. One summer, this kid owned the neighborhood. Where he lived, his house sat right next to the very popular neighborhood park. The park had basketball courts, baseball field, tennis courts. If you were a kid in that town, you were chilling at that park pretty much every day. One summer, he's there, he realizes, kids seem pretty thirsty. Kids seem pretty hungry. They're walking all the way to their houses to get snacks, and then they're coming back. But then he looks at his garage, which, like I said, is right across the street. And he gets a brilliant idea. The next day, he convinces his parents to take him to Costco. He comes back with coolers, chips, drinks, candy, ice pops, ice cream. Then he opens his garage door, sets up a table, makes signs with poster board and Sharpie, and what he wrote on that sign was snacks for sale. And it works immediately. Step right up, snacks, drinks, ice cream. The baseball kids are stopping by in between games, getting a Gatorade, basketball teams coming over. He's running a freaking concession stand for the kids at the park. What a genius. Then he starts upgrading. He's putting really nice folding chairs in the driveway, sets up a speaker. Now kids aren't just buying snacks, they're buying snacks and they're hanging out. One guy finishes a basketball game and goes, all right guys, meet up at the garage. At one point, there were so many bikes piled up on this kid's lawn, everyone assumed that there was a big birthday party or something. But no, it was just business, baby. The kid wasn't charging crazy prices either. He was making a profit, but it wasn't that much of a profit. He was doing this for the neighborhood, for the kids, for summer. And baby, that sounds awesome. This is out of control. When this neighbor's 16-year-old daughter crashes her bike into his car, and what the heck? She immediately gets off, starts crying, and calls her mom. The scratch looks awful at first, but he takes it to a shop, and after a few minutes of buffing, it comes right out. No big deal. So he tells this girl and her mom, don't even worry about it. It was an accident. And he thinks that's the end of it. A couple days later, the mom texts him. My daughter still feels terrible, and she wants to apologize properly. Can we bring you over a cake? He says, sure. That sounds nice. Everybody loves cake. So they show up that evening, and this 16-year-old girl's holding a cake. The mom is standing a few feet behind her with a phone out. The girl starts apologizing. Here, again, I'm so very sorry. I take full responsibility for the scratch and for crashing into your car. Mom's behind her filming. Speak louder, sweetie. I take full responsibility. Okay. The mom then whispers, go ahead, now ask him if he accepts your apology. But that's when he notices the phone. Wait, stop. Are you recording this? Yeah, I'm gonna post it online. It's gonna teach a bunch of kids to take responsibility for their actions. Like, what? I can even blur your face if you want. He looks at the girl and says, I accepted your apology the day it happened. Then turns to the mom and says, yeah, I'm not doing your stupid video. The mom immediately gets irritated, starts arguing with him. Oh my gosh, you couldn't even let us finish? Let us do the video? Then he just walks back inside. What a weird apology. Because it wasn't for him or for the daughter. It was for the camera. The mom, I guess, wanted to go viral. Jeez. teacher had a student that was obnoxious, and anytime she tried to punish him for it, he didn't care. If he got his attention, he would come back smiling. If she called home, he did not care. He liked lunch detentions. He asked to be suspended. Nothing worked, and the kid knew it, and still every single day he would come to class and just be annoying for the sake of it.
Limu, lamu, limu, lamu, limu, lamu, limu.
Oh my god, I hate my life. And if he wasn't making weird limu lamu noises, he'd be tapping pencils, humming, kicking the desk, driving everybody insane. One day the teacher snaps. Hey, what do I have to do to make you stop this? Kid thinks about it for a second and then he says this. Bring me stuff. What stuff? Candy? Snacks? Whatever. Now that's absolutely ridiculous. But the teacher was desperate because she's tried everything. There's no punishing this kid. He just doesn't care. So the next day she shows up with a pack of gum. Hey, here, I brought you this. Thanks. And the transformation is immediate. The kid sits down. He's silent. He does his work. He raises his hand. He's absolutely perfect, and the teacher can't frickin' believe it. Then, the next day, she forgets to bring him something. And immediately,
Limu, lamu, limu, lamu, limu.
right back to it. And according to the students, she stopped everything she was doing, left the room, ran to the vending machine, and came back carrying 4 bags of mini Chips Ahoy cookies. The kid looked at them, took them, nodded, and went right back to behaving super well. The student trained the teacher to bring him stuff so he wouldn't be annoying. Honestly, kid's a legend. Kid had the weirdest job at school. He fixed people's reputations. See, anytime somebody embarrassed themselves, they would feel horrible. They would feel like everyone's talking about them. It wasn't a nice feeling. Like if someone was tripped in the hallway, called the teacher mom, threw up at lunch, everybody would spend the rest of the day talking about it. Unless this kid got involved. Because what he would do is if he was paid enough money or given something valuable enough, he would start an even crazier rumor about somebody else. Not really mean rumors, just unbelievable ones that would make everybody forget what that one kid went through. Dude, you hear that one kid, Tyler, brought a turtle to class? No, it wasn't a turtle, it was a bag of turtle poop. Once something like that spread around, the previous embarrassment, the one the kid paid to get rid of, went away. And it worked brilliantly because people's attention spans are shorter than you think. When other people found out who this reputation fixer was, he began to have clients. People kept his phone number in their phone just in case they would ever need him. And a lot of kids did. Bro, you gotta help me. Text me the details, send me $15, and by lunch, you'll be good. He would then get the text, the money, he would disappear. By lunch, wow. Kid's a genius. Gone. You gotta respect the hustle. There was this kid whose locker was in the best spot of the school. It sat directly under one of the school's air conditioning vents. It's nice and chilly over here. Nobody paid attention to it, not really even him. Until one day he throws a Gatorade on the top shelf of his locker. Comes back a couple hours later. Whoa. This is ice cold. And it's cold. So the next day he tries it again with a soda, a warm soda. He puts it in the morning, he checks it after lunch. Oh, that's a crispy soda. That's when he gets an idea. Instead of filling the top shelf of his locker with his own drinks, he starts renting shelf space. $1 to keep your drink in there until lunch. $2 if you wanted it till the end of the day, to have a cold drink for practice or something. People didn't believe him at first. Dude, there's no way your locker is like a refrigerator. Until one dude tried it. He went to pick up his Dr. Pepper before lunch, and it was cold. No, guys, it actually worked. It was first come, first serve, until the top shelf of the locker was rented out completely. And there was always someone who couldn't get a spot because it was booked up. Kids lined up before the first bell at his locker, holding milk, Gatorade. One kid said,
Will it freeze my ice cream?
He had it organized. He put sticky notes on with the person's name so he knows whose was whose. Teachers found out, but they were just amazed. Like, yo, what a smart kid. And what a strong air conditioning vent. And according to the students, that was the most valuable locker in the school. Yeah, I believe it. And guess what? You gotta respect the hustle.
বাবা
ভাই আমি তো এলাকা ছাড়ার আগে
তুমি একটা গিরাট টুকরা ছেলে, যেই ছেলে
তানিয়া আমার পিস্তলটা নিয়ে আয় তো।
টাকা কি দুধটা রাইখে গেলাম।
মাত্র সে ফেসবুকে স্ট্যাটাস দিয়েছে সে একটি অনাথ বাচ্চাকে
কত স্যাক্রিফাইস করছি, এলাকার বড় ভাই থেকে রিক্সা চালক হয়ে গেলাম, আর সেইটাই করবো। যে গরম না, আর এই বড় ভাই তোর মায়ের চিকিৎসার দায়িত্ব নিছে। সেলিম ভাই ভালোবাসার লেগে জেল খাটছিল। ভাই আপনি যত কথাই,
এই বাড়িতে ওই বদমাইশটার কথা একবারও ভুলে উচ্চারণ করবা না।
ভাই মিনিমাম আপনি 17 লাইনের একটা কবিতা লেখেন, 17 লাইনের কবিতা
কিন্তু ছাপাই না, সব মাথার ভিতরে থাকে। যখন পড়তে ইচ্ছা করে মাথা, আমি জানো ওরে বাপ করে দেব। আর আমি কি কমো জানো, কমু তানিয়া ভালো কেমন বেটা, কস না কেন, বেটা
এটা পড়ে আপনার প্রেমে পুরো রূপ করে পড়ে যাবো। আর তো আপনি পারবেন ভাই, আপনি পারবেন।
ও 700 লাইন লিখবো, আর বাদ বাকি 300 লাইন আমি লেখা বললাম।
একটু নামিয়ে দাও, মানে ও ছাড়া পাক না পাক তাতে আমাদের কি?
কি খবর তোমাদের? কেমন আছো তোমরা সবাই? ভালো তো না? তুমি জানো তোমায় কালকে তো কতবার কল দিচ্ছি।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি রে হৃদয়, রহিন মানা করতেছি। কিছু না কিছু। ভাবি আপনি জানেন আমি একবার অসুস্থ হয়ে গেছিলাম, ও আমাকে রক্ত দেয়নি, আর আজকে আপনাকে রক্ত দিয়ে চিঠি লিখছে।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না রক্তটা দিবি তুই? আমি কেন রক্ত দেবো? প্রেম খরচ তুই, রক্ত আমার বন্ধু দিছেন আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসি ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধে হতে দিবেন না ভাবি। 073421924 এটা তোমার নাম্বার না?
জি জি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
ভালো নেই, আমি ভালো নেই। আমিও তোর মতোই ভাবতেছি, রক্ত যদি দিতে যায়, রক্তটা আপনার কাছে এইটা আমার লাস্ট রিকোয়েস্ট ভাবি।
আচ্ছা
কখন আসবে তোদের ভাবি? আর ভালো লাগতেছে না আমার, সে যে কেন এলো।
কবিতা লিখতে হইব, কয় লাইন লেখছস দে। নাহলে কিন্তু আমি তোকে পিটা মুতে তাদের
লাগবে হইব না ভাই, এটা স্যার আপনি যেটা করবেন এটা করবো। কোন খারাপই করালে কিন্তু কবিতা লিখতে পারবো না।
কোনো মাপ নাই।
এটা পড়ে আপনার প্রেমে পুরো উত্তরে পড়ে যাবো গা। আরো তো আপনি পারবেন ভাই, আপনি পারবেন।
এত কিছু ফালানোর সিস্টেম জানোস, আর প্রেমে ফালানোর সিস্টেম জানোস না? কথা তো একেবারে ফালায় দেওয়ার মতো না। তাকে যদি তোরা গুলিও করস, আগে সালামটা দিয়ে নে।
আপনার ছেলেকে আমার এত পছন্দ হয়েছে যে আমি তো বিয়েতে রাজি হয়ে গেছি।
বছরেও পড়বো না।
আমি তোমাকে চ্যালেঞ্জ দিলাম, তুমি যদি 7
মাস্তানি মুস্তানি অপরাধ, এই 7 দিন খালি খাবি আর
এরকম পট্টি দিয়ে রাখছস কেন?
আমি চাই এই মহৎ কাজটার সাথে আপনি থাকেন। আমাদেরকে 100
দুনিয়ার খাসা বাড়া। হ্যাঁ, আরে বেটা বড় ভাইয়ের মতো একটা বড় ভাই মানে টুকুর।
কিন্তু ছাপাই না, সব মাথার ভিতরে থাকে। যখন পড়তে ইচ্ছা করে মাথা, আমি জানো ওরে বাপ করে দেব। আর আমি কি কমো জানো? তবু তানিয়া ভালো কেমনে বেটা কস না কেন বেটা
তোমার আমি আসল ফুল গাও দেয়। আচ্ছা করে বুঝতেছি।
গর্জন করলেই সবকিছু অর্জন হয় না, বুঝছস?
জানি না, শুধু ভাত কেন?